Wow, we got black. You guys hear me there? There we go. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, going right to my. There we go. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Investing Bros. You guys can see it. The show's so good. I watched the show too. You guys can see right there. I have YouTube pulled up. But guys, what's going on? This is Investing Bros. How are you guys doing? It is the 1st of June today, which means it is the last month in quarter 2. We got a lot to talk about, though, because there was some interesting stuff breaking yesterday, but maybe nothing bigger than old Auntie Beth. Yes, that's right. Elizabeth Warren is back in the anti-crypto headlines, and boy, do we have a take on that later. I commented on Twitter, but I'm going to have another take on that later on in the show. Piper, as well, with his background working in narcotics for the military, is going to have some big stuff to talk about there. I don't know if Elizabeth is going to be invited to the cookout this year, the family cookout. I don't know. She might need to be checking in to a mental asylum with all of these takes that she is giving on crypto, but I'll save that for a little bit later. Bitcoin is also bouncing at the exact levels we talked about yesterday. Does that mean a rally is incoming? We're going to look at that and a whole lot more. And last one, a big blow to Coinbase as a judge has ruled in favor of the IRS. If you don't know what we're talking about, make sure you do not go anywhere because we're talking about that on today's stream. But the biggest story of the day is this is T-shroom's last show for about 2 weeks or so because he decided that he wants to serve the military and Auntie Beth by going and doing push-ups and running for the next 2 weeks. Speaking of Mr. Tshroom, I'm going to introduce him now. How are you doing this morning, Tshroom? Are you ready? How are you doing down there in Florida?
I'm sadder than I deserve, Tim. It's going to be grueling at this training that I'm going to in South Carolina at Fort Jackson for OCS. But I do have a quote of the day. That's right. CBD Suddy commented soon to be LT Tshroom. That's what we're hoping for. But I've got a quote of the day here for you. You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. And that is something I can agree with for sure. So,
wow.
Guys, yeah, it is going to be my last day for a little while here. It's all I mentioned it in the newsletter, which you guys can still read. Should be in your inbox. We're on Substack, and it's in the Discord paid tiers. But yeah, it's my last day for a little while. I'm going to go do some military training, and when I come back, I'll be stronger than ever, as long as I haven't been completely and utterly destroyed. So we do get a little recovery period at the end, so I should be ready to go, guns blazing, when I get back. But yep, that's why I won't be on the show for a little while, guys.
Well, I got a question for you, Tshroom. Right now, if I were to give you $1 per push-up, but you can't take a break, like there's no pausing, there's no putting your knees on the ground, how many push-ups do you think you could do straight for $1 per push-up?
Well, the
About
Army has
70.
its own. No, probably like 33. Yeah,
33. All right, so here's a new over-under. Chat, over-under. When Tshroom gets back here in 2 weeks, that 33 will turn into, I'm going to go with 65. I feel like with what they're going to do to you, you'll probably lose some weight. You'll probably put on some muscle. I'm going to go with, what did I just say, 65? 65. Over, under, are you guys taking the over on straight push-ups for Tshroom or the under? First person to give an answer on this, introducing the Texas man himself, Army Piper. How are you doing this morning, Piper? And also, are you taking the over, the under on that push-up number?
65. Man, if he's only hitting about 30 something right now, I'm going to say it's going to be under that. I think it's going to be closer to about 47 to 50. So,
but Piper, remember that you really don't know how strong you are until you're forced to be strong. So maybe,
muscle failure is muscle failure. I know the rate of buildup of push-ups. So yeah, if he's doing that many right now, he will learn how to use his form to produce more push-ups, but it's not going to be 65. I don't think. No.
So you heard it here first, people. Tim believes in T-shroom and Piper does not. I'm just kidding. I know you love him. Let me know in chat. I see a lot of people. Some people, Amela Fellows says 69. Elliot Locke says 66, so taking the over. Elo Brown says 34, so he's about modest improvements here, T-shroom.
No, John Kahn nailed it. John Kahn nailed it. It's OCS, not enlisted basic. So
there we go. There we go.
Correct.
Well, let's go. What's next here? I lost my train of thought here. We were reading names. Well, let's actually go in here and read some names with chat. Starting off, we did have our first two commenters of the day. I wrote them down because we did have that poll about T-shroom. While we're talking about that, make sure you guys have voted on that. We got almost 70 people watching, only 35 votes though. Which will you guys miss more? With T-shroom being gone, him doing better than he deserves, or his sarcastic news reporting? Let us know. But our first two commenters of the day, once again, was Elo Brown, and in second place was a Mellow Fellow. So congratulations. Shout out to you guys. Also, we are joined this morning by Mr. J, Bobby Smoot, Eric Wallen, which Eric Wallen said good morning and farewell. I don't know what that means. Maybe he just came in to comment and then had to run for the day. Also, we're joined by Ninja.
That was farewell to Tshroom.
Maybe. I'm trying to see if I see his comments down below. Oh, yeah, he's still here. Okay, never mind. Eric Wallen's still around. Good to know. Let's see here. Ninja Glock is here. Mike Play. Let's see here. Joe Nickel. Yair Navarro, which, by the way, Yair, good to see you back. I haven't seen your name here in a little bit, so good to see you back on. Maybe you're just in here early, and normally you're in here later on in the show. By the way, guys, one thing I want to be doing a lot more of is I want to be engaging you guys with chat all throughout the show, not just in the beginning. So make sure you guys are sticking around, asking a bunch of questions. Anytime you guys are asking questions in chat, that makes it a whole lot easier to interact. And so look forward to that coming in the future. Elliot Locke is here. Crypto JMP is here. Crypto Alchemist, Justin Eubanks. Who else we have? JN Carr is here. Brakoshi Nodanero. Love it. That's a good one. John Kahn is here. Alex Green. Love it. Alex Green is here. If you guys don't know, Alex Green is one of the funniest people I know. So go spend time with Alex Green. He's pretty funny. Brian D is here. Philly Skills 1428. Gia S is here. Tarsum. I don't think I've read that name before. So welcome, Tarsum. Which once again, guys, if this is either your first, second, or third time ever watching Investing Bros, go ahead and put a 1 in chat because I want to read your name as well. Welcome in any of our new viewers. Let's get a couple more names here, and then I want to read some of those newer viewers. Let's see here. I think I said Mike Lowry, but just in case, Mike Lowry is here. CBD Suddy is here. Juice Toes. There we go. That might be a new one as well. But I don't think so. He said sad day. So Juice Toes, that makes me think that you've been watching for a while, but I'm so glad to read your name. I don't think I've read your name early in the show before. Crypto Set Guy with the blue wrench is here. And let's get two more, and then we're going to read some newer names. Victor Delgado, and we've got last one. Let's see, a lot of the same names here. Ooh, Crypto Trades is here. So let's see here. Let's see any new names we got. Okay, we got a lot of liars in chat. We got GS, which GS, yeah, I always looked up to you. I don't know why you're stooping to the tricks of these other guys. It does not surprise me that Elliot Locke and John Kahn put 1. That's right up the alley right there. But just kidding, you guys. Thank you so much for commenting. Sir Maguero said 4. I don't know what that means. Peter Prevost says 1. Okay, so now Army Piper's lying too. All right, so we just got a bunch of liars. Eric Brubaker, we got more liars. There we go. Okay. Well, I love you guys. If I did not read any of your names, which I think I got pretty much everyone, Crypto Military Vet also. But if I did not read your name, it does not mean I don't love you. It just means it is time to go ahead and move on with the show. So we're going to throw it over to Army Piper for our economic outlook this morning. Piper, what you got for us?
Come on, load in. There we go. So hey, I just want to say that Crux in there, I don't know if you saw his best PT score ever, but it's pretty phenomenal. Did you see that?
85 push-ups, 108 sit-ups, 12:32 minute. Wow, 12:32 minute mile. Impressive.
Yeah,
nice.
That's a killer score. That is a very killer score. So
that is good.
Let's jump into the macro news here, guys. Thank you for reading that off there, Tim, while I loaded my screen because I did not have it loaded. So yeah, that's called the cover down there. So let's take a look here, guys. Looking at we want to be on the 2 impact today. There we go. Looking for today's information that came out this morning. We had initial jobless claims. It was at 230,000. 234,000. We had a consensus of 235,000, and 234,000 was going to be the forecast. Came in under the consensus and the forecast this morning. So that typically means that we see a little bit of movement in the dollar. So I guess we're probably going to see some Dixie move off of that this morning. But let's go ahead and see what else we got today. ISM manufacturing PMI. That's going to be coming in right at the end of the show today. So we'll see what that comes in at. Was at 47.1 previously, and that's projected to be about neutral. Not much change there. Jumping into tomorrow, though, we're going to have our unemployment rate. Again, guys, 3.4 is what we are at right now. Consensus is that unemployment is going up. So with the initial jobless claims being under, this might actually be proven wrong, and it probably comes in about neutral, even though 3.5 is only 0.1% up. So let's see what else here. Non-farm payrolls tomorrow, and it looks like the non-farm payrolls is going to be way down. So a little bit of tightening there on the belt from the payroll side. And why that says non-farm, that means it's all paid labor sectors except for farming, because farming is seasonal and it throws a wrench in the works there on the numbers and data. So that's what we're seeing there. Yeah, so watch tomorrow morning. Unemployment rate, non-farm payrolls. That's going to be the big things that we have for the rest of the week. Let's go ahead and jump over to Trueflation, see what Trueflation looks like. Trueflation coming in neutral. Yesterday, remember, we were up just a little bit, 0.06% today. We're neutral, still sitting 2% below what the government is reporting on the inflation rate. So let's kick it back over to you, Tim, and I'm sure you're going to walk us through the FOMC, because there's been a little change there.
There has, and I'm going to start off by saying here, I actually don't know what's happening. And Piper, if you think you know, or if someone in chat thinks they know, I would love to be enlightened, because guys, we got about 2 weeks here left, 13 days until FOMC. But guess what we have this morning? 72% are now saying that it's going to be a pause. We're saying now it's going to be we're going to stay put at 5 to 525. And this is where I'm a little curious about what's going on here, because you guys know we talked about this the other day. My speculation was maybe the FOMC tools, maybe they were predicting that we weren't going to reach a deal for the debt ceiling, and that America was going to go bankrupt or something, and they would have to raise interest rates. I don't know. But remember, I told you guys, like, if they raise the debt ceiling and print more money and raise interest rates, that's just literally stealing from the poor. That's literally just saying, hey, let's keep the big cats happy while we steal money from poor people. But the fact that we just got the announcement yesterday, and we're talking more about this in a second, but the fact that we just got the announcement that the debt ceiling was passed by Congress, now it's heading to Senate, so it's pretty highly likely they're going to go ahead and raise the debt ceiling. Is that the big news, saying that, hey, actually, no, since we're going to be raising that, let's go ahead and stay paused? Did something with those economic data, are they predicting that tomorrow the jobless claims are going to be, different? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. If you guys have a theory, let me know. But the good news at this point is that instead of us looking like we're going to get another 25 basis point rate hike, which I told you yesterday, I did not think that Bitcoin and crypto had priced in. Now the fact that we're looking more like a pause, we still got 2 weeks until something happens, but that should be bullish for crypto, because I do believe this was baked in, that we would get to 525 and then stop. The clarifying thing here, though, is yesterday it said that we would end the year in December at 500 to 525. Let's see what it's saying now. I actually don't even know. So now it's predicting, not with high probability, only 35.9%, but it's saying we're going to end the year at 475 to 500. So watch this number keep changing. But something shifted yesterday. Something shifted this morning. FOMC tool has changed their mind. The predictors, they've changed their mind. They think we're going to pause. Is that due to debt ceiling news? Is that due to employment news? I'm not 100% certain. And if I find out, I will be letting you guys know as soon as I can. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index at 52. So staying kind of boring, just not really doing much of anything. We've talked about this last 7 days, kind of a straight line. Last month, we had some volatility before it straightened out. This is something to keep your eyes on for sure. We've compared this in the past to what happened back in 2019. Where are we in 2019? And it's going to be hard to see, because obviously it's going to bunch up. But June of 2019, I think we're looking at this area. You didn't see a lot of flat movement, but maybe it's like one of these pockets is similar. You guys know, both Piper and myself have been talking about the similarities between 2019 and June to where we are right now when it comes to price action of Bitcoin and other cryptos. Speaking of price action in other cryptos, let's go ahead and go over to our charts. And I'm going to start off by going over to Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at the Dixie here a little bit today. So that's what you guys are seeing me look at. But the first thing I want to talk about, and what the heck? Okay, everything's just kind of resetting for me, so it's messing me up a little bit. First of all, before we get into this, shout out to Chart Prime again. You guys are seeing us using their indicators for everything. You guys will notice if you missed the show yesterday, you might be like, Tim, what the heck is this new oscillator down here? Well, this is a free oscillator that you get. You don't even have to buy Chart Prime, honestly. You can just go in, look up RSI Prime. You can type in Chart Prime and find it. And this replaces the RSI, but it uses candles instead of a straight line, which actually helps you see formations and patterns better. To me, this makes RSI more supreme. So you guys know I love me some RSI. You guys know that I've given up. I'm like, hey man, I'm just gonna go and stick with RSI primed. It's free. It's awesome. It gives me more data, I feel like, and more of an insight as to what RSI is doing. So for those reasons, I'm sticking here. Other things, we'll talk more about that because they got a bunch of new indicators out today. Still looking at that 9 on consolidation here for Bitcoin. So that is good. Got to go on to my other chart, though. Let's go to that 4-hour chart. I just put this out on Twitter, but you guys who watched the show yesterday know that we discussed this. We almost hit the levels we talked about yesterday perfectly. I'm going to pull up my Fibonacci levels for you guys. And we had a wick that went through, but we ended up bouncing almost perfectly right here at this golden pocket. Let me go ahead and do this right quick so I make sure I'm on track here. Yeah, so we hit our golden pocket just perfectly at 26,700 or so. Yes, we wicked down to about 26.6. I did tell you guys, if we can't hold the golden pocket, keep an eye on 26.4 right down here in the platinum pocket. But I told you guys I did believe the golden pocket would be a good level of support. Let's watch what happens there. If you guys are looking at our RSI and at our Chart Prime oscillators, you will see on the 4-hour chart, we do have a green reversal flash here on our Prime oscillator. And you also can see we got below the 30 here with the RSI. And again, those candles, it's balancing out right here. What I would love to see is an engulfing candle of some kind or a massive green candle right here to confirm. However, at the moment, we're definitely sitting on the 4-hour chart in overextended territory to the downside, or another way to put it, we're seeing oversold territory on the 4-hour chart. It's not necessarily as good on the daily chart. On the daily chart, the most recent flash we actually just had was a bearish divergence with a red triangle. That, though, called this top back here. So it's not necessarily the end of the world. What I'm saying, though, is keep your eyes on that. I do believe that people are going to look at this bearish divergence and say, oh, that means Bitcoin has to go down. But that's why you want to look at multiple time frames. You want to be able to come down and look at the 4-hour, look at the hour, and see the bullish things that are going on as well. Speaking of bullish things going on, let's go back to the 4-hour chart and let's look at, well, actually, let's go to the daily chart here. This might give me a best angle. I'm going to look at the fixed range volume profile and pull up the Q2 numbers. Again, we're not all the way through Q2, but let's take a look at what the volume has looked like during Q2, and then let's look at what it's been since the beginning back in Q1. So you can also see right here, even though we bounced with a candle body close in the golden pocket, the wick that came down came to touch the Q2 value area low. So this is a very strong level of support. You'll also see that dynamic reactor cutting signal right below us. I believe that this support level is very strong. That's one of the reasons why we talked about it yesterday. Keep your eyes on that. If we end up losing the value area support, you're gonna more than likely be looking for a touch of the dynamic reactor as well as the platinum pocket we discussed here just a second ago, somewhere in that region of 26.4, 26.3, give or take. But for right now, the support zones of our Fibonacci and our fixed range volume profile are holding up. Let's take a look at, if we were to go back to the beginning of Q1, what that would look like all the way back to, there we go, January 1st. Boom. Right here, we rejected the other day at our value area high. Our point of control is all the way down at 23,000. Remember, guys, and I'm not trying to say we're going to go down here, but remember, this is something as a technical analyst, as a trader, you should be aware of. If we were to lose our dynamic reactor, if we do lose 25.2, that point of control is looking pretty good, and that's because technically speaking, there still is this head and shoulders pattern that people are concerned about. Let's see. How do we do this the other day? Yes. I love these hotkeys. I'm learning new things all the time. If you guys were to draw this out, in case some of you have not seen this or it's been a while since you've seen it, we want to go and create this little neckline right here. Change that off dotted lines. I don't want a dotted line. Let's go to normal line. And then you take the high of the head down to the neckline. But I got to grab my trend lines here. Boom. This breakout point, coming back to this touch, would put us, let's see, at the original breakout point, would give us a price prediction all the way down here at 23,600 or so. A little bit above the point of control, but something you got to know about crypto. As much as we love formations, and formations are great at calling breakouts, the best way to do it is not take that number perfectly by itself, but then look around that area. What's close? That's strong levels of support and resistance. In this case, it is our point of control for the entire year, quarter one and quarter two. Once again, guys, I want to reiterate this. I am not predicting this is going to happen. This is an if-then statement. And the if-then is if we lose the dynamic reactor, and then if we get high volume dropping us below 25.2, the strongest support that we still have on the board, then we're talking about 23,000 more than likely is the next spot to be watching for on Bitcoin. Let's take a look, though, on Dixie. I had that pulled up here just a second ago. So Dixie has been rallying still. Back up here. We got as high. The wick here on Dixie is about 104.23. This is a little higher than I originally suspected. You guys know, watching the show back a little bit ago, I actually said there's a decent chance that the Dixie gets up to about 103. I thought it was going to reject here on the daily dynamic reactor. It did not. I guarantee you, if we pull up the estimate, wait, well, we're not that far away. Okay, so I don't think we're actually going to get to the 200, but that's another level to watch right there with the 0.382 on SMAs. But what I'm seeing here, let's pull up our oscillators here on the daily chart. Unlike Bitcoin, or it's like similar to Bitcoin, we're getting some overbought flashes here on the Dixie as well. And this is the daily chart, but you even have them over here on the 4-hour. Remember, Bitcoin sitting in a spot of being a little bit more oversold on the 4-hour. The Dixie, on the other hand, is looking a little bit more. It's hovering now at the midline, but it's most recently has been flashing a lot of overbought on the Dixie, especially with this new debt ceiling bill that's being passed. If it goes into effect, I believe on the 6th. The 6th is the final day for them to give their answer. If we get that debt ceiling to pass, that just means that more money will be printed, and it'll be time for the Dixie to fall back down. That will be very good for Bitcoin, for crypto. Keep your eyes, though, on the levels. Of course, we're going to watch that 0.5 level below us at 102. Then you're going to be watching probably right here around at 100, which has been a flat level of support for the Dixie, but it would be majorly bullish for crypto to go ahead and break that. So if that debt ceiling bill passes the Senate, watch for Dixie start to fall pretty harshly. And again, we've said this before, but I'll say it again. Everything in the news about what we see on the dollar, I mean, I don't even think we're talking about it today, but we've seen news from Brazil here recently. He wants to go ahead, and the president of Brazil, he wants to unite almost all of South America to trade in something other than US dollar. Everything in the news, everything on the charts, everything in the macroeconomic look is saying the Dixie's days are numbered for this movement to the upside. Watch us begin to revert back down to the downside. Even this, look at here. This is our daily chart. Look at the RSI we have going here. Massively overextended all the way up here to 94. Just alpha right here, guys. If you ever hit 94 on the RSI, that should, in your mind, just go ahead and be a sell signal. 99 out of 100 times, a 94, anything above 90 on RSI is going to be reversing to the downside. With that said, though, it's time to go into some Ethereum TA with Piper. So, Piper, why don't you go ahead and take us away into Ethereum and anything else you want to look at?
Sweet. Let's do it. All right. So let's take a look here. Looking at Ethereum on a 4-hour right now, guys, you can see that we are still fighting with this breaker block. Told you guys yesterday that these are typically when you get an order block that has had the liquidity drained out of it, this becomes, if you will, a zombie order block, and it's called a breaker block. So, you know, still alive, still capable of doing things, but not as strong and as lively as it was before. So, but it is right now holding pretty good as resistance, the top of that breaker block right there, and then right now wicking up to the bottom of it since we can't get above it. Right here, though, guys, we do look like we're running right now off the dynamic reactor here, and this one, another free indicator coming soon to a trading view near you. This is called the dynamic sidekick, and you can see we wicked right down to it. What it's doing in there is giving you a range from the calculations, also playing with some volume. So we got some decent volume running in here on it, and that is where we wicked down to, getting that bounce right now. Currently, we are below the trade band of the predictive ranges here. That's what this gold line is right there. And just, we have a lot of resistance above us. You can see right here that we do have the red line on the trend assistant, and it is fighting to keep us down. So I'm not feeling that this is looking overly bullish right now with the resistance that we have, but I do have some hopium for you, because right down here on the oscillator, we are starting to get the ribbon pinch right there. And you know what that typically means? We're going to run up through this cloud, and this could be the breakthrough to get back through all this, give us a nice green trend assistant running down there, and the other point of hopium that's up here is I'm looking at the prime ranges, guys. That's this light green line here, light green line there. If we can get this push here and the push off the RSI, money flow to come back in, break through all this stuff, I would be looking for the prime ranges up here to be the next target back at 1958. Not that hard. We've been back here before not too long ago. So that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum right now. I will point out also that the prime score is still sitting at 8, which means that this is still reading as a strong trend to the upside. I guess that all the support that we're getting here is giving us a little boost of hope there. Let's go ahead, throw on this fixed range that I have here, volume profile. You can see right up here at the top of all of this area, that is this purple line running. That is going to be the value area high on the fixed range volume profile. Man, look at this. We got the 786 down here. We've got the point of control sitting down here, and then we've got the dynamic reactor, the dynamic sidekick. Things are looking pretty decent right here, right? For at least holding sideways. Not going too far to the downside, but I'm not seeing a lot of reasons that we don't see a little bit of upside later in the day. So I guess it's mixed. We got a 50-50 split running there on it, Tim. So let's go ahead and jump over to XRP. Yesterday, guys, I was looking at XRP and I told you I had closed out my long on XRP up here in like 52.3 cent range. But I said, guys, I expect, let me go ahead and drop this to the 1 hour just to show you how many times it was tested. I said, I suspect that XRP will trade right here. And someone actually challenged me yesterday in the chat and said, nope, it's going down. Everything's going down. I said, no, I think it's going to trade right here in the platinum pocket. And that's what we have done. All these candle closes since yesterday morning, which is going to be about right in here. That when I said that, all closing right here on the 786 of the platinum pocket. So still feeling good about this. It's holding sideways right now, getting a consolidation score of 5, losing a little bit of its trend score there. The prime score is at 6, but consolidation starting to come up. I just think that this is where we're going to consolidate, and that 50 cent mark is going to be its new support strength. So yeah, that's what I got for XRP, and that's what I have for Ethereum this morning. I'm going to go ahead and jump it over to Brocam. Let's go.
Well, I was going to say I completely forgot, and this is another thing that we did not get to cover yesterday's show because it wasn't official. But that was yesterday we did end up filling that futures gap on Bitcoin. We did actually did it yesterday during the BitBoy show. I actually got to give a note to Frankie while he was doing it. I was like, hey, by the way, man, I don't know if you saw, but the gap got filled. Sure enough, here, guys, this is what we're talking about here on the daily chart, right? Yeah, those candles just look weird to me. This gap here that we formed a couple of days ago, we have just now come down and fill it. So that's another really bullish sign that says, hey, we're not saying with 100% certainty that Bitcoin's about to shoot to the upside, but that was a big holder that was saying, hey, Bitcoin might not be ready. Now that we filled that gap, that's another kind of check of saying, hey, Bitcoin could be ready to go ahead and blast off, go to the upside. And again, with this, what we're seeing over here, this Fed tool, anyone who just joined late, we're now seeing a 72% chance that we're going to go ahead and pause. This is massively bullish. The stars are beginning to slowly align for Bitcoin. Do not be surprised to see a rally coming over the next couple of days. You can go ahead and go back to Brocam, and we can go ahead. We got like 1 minute, but T-shroom, before we get into the stock market open, let's take a look at chat here. I know people have been shouting out, loving on you. Is there any questions you saw, T-shroom, that you want to answer in chat before we jump into our stocks?
None that I saw. Did you see any good questions for me?
Well, I mean, some people.
Yeah.
Gustavo Viller said, "Wait a minute, I missed it. Been out for a week. T-shroom leaving. What? Yeah. So, for anyone who doesn't know, T-shroom, where are you going? Why are you leaving?
I am going to South Carolina. It is Fort Jackson in South Carolina for OCS training. So it is for me to get the training necessary to validate that I can become an officer in the United States Army. So it's going to be very grueling. I'm going to be picking sand out of my teeth the whole time, doing a lot of low crawling, and it's going to be absolutely miserable.
Yeah,
so that's where I'm going to be.
Facts, big facts. I want to give a shout out to Crypto Archie. He's in the house also watching right now.
Hey, what's up, Archie? What's up, Archie? Any other chat you saw, T-shroom? I did see while you're looking or thinking about it. GS says, so is this the drop that you were talking about where we're talking about a while back with the one where you said it would go to around 25K, then start going back up. No, so I mean, if anyone's wondering, I think I responded to her as well in chat. But no, I still think, we talked about this the other day. I still think there's actually a move to the upside. I have become a little more conservative. I used to be saying 50K was the range, which is still very doable. But to me, I think as I'm looking at it, I think 36 to 42 is a range to be looking at. I know Piper was looking at some levels that he's comparing about 45 is the range. So it's a fat range. And that's, I'm not trying to like give you guys an exact point to take profit. Anywhere between 36 to 45, you're going to feel good with it, because I do believe we will touch 25.2 again. I just think a rally is coming first, then a big dump back down to the 25.2 levels. And then later on this year, early next year, that's when the real bull market starts. So anyone wondering, Tim, are you bullish or bearish? Well, I'm both. I'm short
Uh-oh.
term bullish. I don't know what's happening. Did I just bug out?
Yep. Welcome back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think you're
We
back
can.
now,
Yep,
though.
you're good.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw on my screen, it looked like everything paused. I was just saying, if anyone's wondering, Tim, are you bullish? Are you bearish? What are you? I am short-term bullish, intermediate-term bearish, and not super bearish, just back down to 25.2, and then long-term bull market still coming. 4-year cycle is still very, very, very much intact, and this is just go back. Like if you don't believe the 4-year cycle, just do your research, go back, apply the 4-year cycle logic, take those maps, match them over, and you're going to wake up and be like, oh my gosh, we're just repeating history once again. Someday, the 4-year cycle will die and it'll go away. It will. That day is not today. That cycle is not this bull cycle. The 4-year cycle is still very much intact. With that said, though, we're going to engage with chat a little bit more here later on. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like button, guys. We got 132 people watching. This is awesome. We got 68 likes, though, so make sure you go ahead and smash that like, especially if you like T-shroom, as we're giving him a little farewell show today. T-shroom, why don't you go ahead and take us into our stock market open and tell us what's happening over there?
Let's do it, guys. Well, I just got an alert right here at Market Open. C3.ai has come all the way back down to $31.40. That's a retrace of 28%. So it's down 21% on the day. Had a down day yesterday. 28% from those highs. You'll note this could potentially be helping answer the question: is the AI a bubble? The AI hype a bubble? But before we conclude anything, let's take a look. So Nvidia is actually getting bought. So it's staying up in that gap cloud up there. So there could be some downside. The C3.ai is a AI enterprise AI provider. NVIDIA is the one that provides the chips. So it's a little closer to the metal, as they say in tech. But C3.ai, more of the service provider, more, has a lot more of the sales and the client accounts over there, kind of trying to get you set up with AI in your enterprise. It has gapped down. So the AI story kind of showing its cards a little bit there, the further away from the metal that you get. All right, let's go ahead and check out our market open. Energy is coming down markedly lower there from natural gas, coming down about 4%. U.S. oil down up 0.5. Let's see, your index is here coming in. The Nasdaq just barely green, and the S&P and the Dow are red. The Dow selling off the hardest, down almost 0.5% there. Now it's 0.5, of course. So the indexes are slightly mixed, definitely leaning bearish for the market open here. Crypto is looking pretty mixed. You've got optimism trying to make a comeback from the heavy losses it's been suffering, but then Bitcoin and Ethereum, the biggies, are down. And let's go ahead and take a look here. Litecoin doing okay. Cake remaining green. I may have to remove Cake from my watch list soon here, guys, because it is not doing what it needs to. I'm out of Cake. I have sold my Cake, and I'm moving on. I believe I bought XRP and some of the Gem Hunters recommendations, some of those alts, some of those gems. So I have moved on from Cake, folks. Moving into our metals, gold is getting bought and silver is even on the session. And then your mega cap tech stocks are looking pretty mixed here, with Microsoft getting a nice little sell off here, down 0.7%. And then you've got Apple making a comeback here, green, Google green, and Meta up 1%. Tesla down 1%. All right, moving into our bonds. Bonds are pretty much red across the screen except for the 6-month. Yields are coming up a little bit, so seeing a little bit of money rotating into bonds this morning, pushing those incentives down a little bit. The Dixie, as Tim has already noted, down 0.3% this morning. Your cannabis names are pretty mixed, with CGC leading lower there, down 1.2%. And then your mid cap stocks here. Obviously, the big one to note here, as we opened our market open with, is C3.ai down 21.7%. So quite a sell off there. That was a very sudden spike for C3.ai, and Coinbase down almost 2% there. Big banks mixed, with Citibank leading higher, up 1%, and your big oil names here also pretty mixed, with Schellenberger leading up 1%. And ExxonMobil red down about 0.5%. That's going to be our market open here, guys. The biggest takeaway by far is that the AI story here is showing its cards a little bit, at least on the C3.ai front. Now let's take a look at the crypto AIs, because we didn't really zoom in on those very much. We've got FET.ai and AGIX. Those guys are pretty much unmoved. I mean, it says AGIX is down 1.7%. But for crypto, that's, as you guys know, that's not really that much. So we're seeing mostly sideways movement. This price action on the daily chart looks almost nothing like Nvidia and C3.ai. So definitely some different sentiments on the crypto side. What you got, Piper?
What is that? What's that rejection yellow line there that everything keeps wicking up to and getting rejected? What is that, T-shroom?
That is going to be your dynamic sidekick, which I don't think this is released yet.
It is not. It is coming. I'm telling you guys. We
Yeah.
just keep. This is going to be an indicator that we may be integrating into the Pro Suite as a on-off button to assist with the dynamic reactor. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Definitely. You can see too, an interpretation of this too is that I don't like to use volume on my charts, just because it looks kind of nasty down at the bottom. But what this dynamic sidekick does, I don't know if that's going to be the final name, but it actually shows the volume, increased volume, and when it's fatter. So right now on AGIX, it's very thin. So there's very low volume, which means that there could be a big move to one side or the other in short order. So
Facts.
that's going to be our That's going to be our market open, guys. Let's go ahead and get into our community session and see what else is going on. Some updates maybe for you guys.
So what you got? What you got, Tim?
Well, no, you. I think you can go ahead. I was just going to go into and look at some of our channel stuff and let you guys know where we are. You can go and share my screen here real quick. We're not on pace. It's day one though. We need to get about 676 more subscribers to hit our goal right there. You guys know by the end of June we want to be at 4,000 subscribers here. We need your help. Continue to share. Continue to view every single video. Like, subscribe, comment, all this stuff. But share with your friends is the most important one. You can share on Twitter. You can just text your friends and say, hey, just go hit subscribe on this channel. But we're I don't know if on pace is the right term, but it's still very, very doable. Also, we have been paused here on our Discord here. We've been at 208 now for about a week. Make sure if you are not already in our free Discord over here on Investing Bros, link down below. You guys come join. There's some great conversation stuff that happened over there, especially if you guys ever ask questions and you want answers. I know sometimes it's can be hard to get those answers. Our community over here in Investing Bros is amazing at getting those answers to you quickly. So make sure. Oh, look at that, the buggy mouse again. There we go. Make sure you guys come and. I don't know why it does it either. It's very strange. Yeah, Piper, what you got for us?
All right. So, guys, we've got a couple of things going on. I want to give a spotlight here on Chart Prime's giveaway that they're going on. So they're going to be giving away. Yeah, let's do it. One is they're giving away 5 quarterly subscriptions of the Pro Suite, guys. So all you got to do, go to Twitter. Tim Warren right there shared it, but let me click on this one here. There we go. Chart Prime giveaway alert. Chart Prime just launched brand new Pro Suite, and 5 people are going to get a free quarterly Chart Prime subscription. Requirement: like and retweet this post, tag a friend. Please don't tag other crypto indicator services, please, guys,
Mhm.
because that happened. You must be following Chart Prime. So, go follow them, like this, give it a retweet, tag a friend, and you could be one of the people that win one of the 5 quarterly subscriptions. Shout out to Crux on this awesome artwork that he did here. This is sweet. It's beautiful. I love it. So there's that one. I want to give a shout out about today, guys. June 1st, Crypto Gem Hunters is relaunching with a whole brand new show, brand new setup. I am going to be on there this morning. They're going to be going live at about 11 Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 in Dubai, where Archie's at. The whole team's going to be there celebrating this. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link here in the chat so you guys can go get notification today and follow us. I'm part of that group. Archie, Seth, SSM, Crypto that was on yesterday, T-shroom. Like, you guys have got to come check out the show. It's going to be fantastic.
Mhm.
That's going to be today also. And then lastly, I want to show you guys, hey, I actually think that there could be a short opportunity coming up on Litecoin right now. I'm watching us hit right here on the red resistance line. This is the upper resistance band of the predictive ranges. We have a order block here that's been giving us a little bit of, it says low, but there's still low liquidity there that we've been being rejected off of. We got the reversal flag. Money flow is starting to come down. The trend is turning red, and it looks like we're starting to reject down now. So there might be a good little opportunity here. Go look at charts. Check out Litecoin. Could be a short opportunity. That's what I got for you. Back to you, Tim.
Boom. Well, let's go ahead and jump on in here to, well, no, actually, we had a super chat for a second. I
Yep.
think this is directed towards Tshroom. Elliot Locke says, Lieutenant Shroom, any good plays in the farming stocks?
To be honest with you, I don't know of any farming stocks. The only one that really came to mind was Deere. DE is the ticker. It's Deere and Company, and that's John Deere. You know them because you've probably seen branding in old restaurants or something for Deere's. If you live in the country, you've probably actually seen John Deere's. But yeah, so I would say I don't really know many agricultural stocks. That I don't like to get into agricultural stuff too much because a lot of that is dependent on weather across the United States and across the world. And it just I track crypto and I track the indexes and stuff like that. So when it comes to agriculture, that's definitely not something that's on my radar too much. But if you really wanted to get into it, there's DE, ticker DE for John Deere. It is below the equilibrium right now on the daily, and it is below the it's below the dynamic sidekick, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but that just means it's on sale. I don't know what its major competitors are and all the stuff like that, but yeah, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm sorry that I can't answer your question more. I just the answer is pretty much no. I do not track agricultural stocks very much. I don't even think
Hey,
Monsanto is another one that would come to mind, but I don't think you can buy that straight up.
Hey, shout out to Bedredden. He said, "Yo, bros, how's everyone doing today?" And Henry Hernandez, who just joined late, it looks like, said T-shroom's leaving the show. T-shroom's going to be gone for 2 weeks, going to OCS to become a military officer. So that he's not leaving forever. He's just going to do bigger and better things for his body, his soul, and his sanity. Because if you can deal with everyone yelling at you in the army, you can deal with anything. So
Yeah. It's true.
Yep.
It is very true. Well, Tshroom, why don't you go ahead and kick us off into our news for the day? We got some great discussions coming up, so make sure you guys, if you have not already, smash that like button and stay tuned because it's going to be a good one. I'm excited about today's discussion. Tshroom, go ahead and take it away.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to start off with the big news here of the day, which is the debt ceiling bill has passed in the House, and it is now advancing to the Senate just days ahead of the default deadline. So that's the big ceiling there, the debt ceiling story, and we'll get into no other details other than just the vote count, which is 165 Dems voted yes, and only 149 Republicans voted yes on this debt ceiling bill. So obviously, Democrats want the country to prosper more than the Republicans. I guess is what it
That's
what it
factual,
seems
yeah.
like there. All right, and then our kind of a bigger story here is Elizabeth Warren, Auntie Warren, highlights crypto's role in the fentanyl trade and plans to combat with bill. All right, so let's see what she has to say here. Crypto is supposedly banned in China. This is her quote, but more than 90 companies based in China are raking in tens of millions of dollars worth of crypto by selling these fentanyl precursors. So the ingredients that go into fentanyl. Warren said that in response to the latest findings, she and Senator Roger Marshall will reintroduce their digital asset Anti-Money Laundering Act, a bill that aims to close loopholes that allow participants in the drug trade to make use of cryptocurrency. So, yeah, some big news there on the regulation front. She is a senator. She does have power, but oftentimes we've seen her bark is a little bigger than her bite. Let's take a look here at this other regulation story. IRS can access Coinbase user trading data, court rules. Big scary words there. Let's see what the details hold. A U.S. federal court has ruled that the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, maybe you've heard of them, is within its right to access Coinbase user data in a case which sought to block the tax agency on constitutional grounds. Harper, who maintains his innocence, is the defendant in this. Harper, actually, he's not, because he's had to sue the IRS, but we'll get into those details. Harper, who maintains his innocence, had previously attempted to argue that such a request for his internal Coinbase trading records violated his Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights. Coinbase was reportedly forced to hand over some of its largest users' information, including Harper's, following a separate summons against the Delaware Registered Exchange a year later. The IRS helped Harper. The IRS alleged Harper had failed to adequately declare his crypto trades in 2013 and 14, prompting action from the agency against him and others. So this is a pretty big story. It's got a lot of potential to set precedent. But what I will point out from the onset is if you're accurately reporting your crypto taxes, your crypto earnings, your capital gains, this isn't something that you should fear. But this does absolutely have mega ramifications. But Piper, I want to throw it over to you first. Is there anything in that Elizabeth Warren story, kind of drawing the line, connecting the dots between fentanyl and cryptocurrency? Is there anything in that you see some flaws in at all?
Yeah, common sense and understanding of how the intelligence world works. You said she's a senator and she has some power, and my brain went, yeah, and she has two brain cells that don't talk to each other. So in the intel world, guys, just for you guys to know, my job in the Army was an intelligence analyst, and one of the jobs that I did for quite a few years of it was counter drug threat finance. So I would make myself a subject matter expert on this topic, and that she needs to stay in her lane, which is lobbyist. So let's go ahead and look at. I want to show you guys what we use. It's called M2, and it's a link analysis tool that we use to track networks within the counter drug. And I know this is chaos, but if I was on this as my system, I would be able to actually zoom in on this, and there would be files attached and all kinds of stuff in here, right? And what all of these are entities that we're tracking, whether it be a person or whether it be an asset, a source for information, a bank account, crypto wallets. In the threat finance world, we would rather them use a finance wallet, a crypto wallet, than to use off-ramping of cash. And the reason for that is because, say, for example, this network over here is the makers of the product, right? And then over here, you've got the ones that are the movers of the product or the sellers of the product, whatever. And this box here sitting in the middle is the wallet, a crypto wallet, right? Whatever it might be. So this, we would be able to just sit and monitor this and know when they are moving product to the sellers, because we would see the money hit here first and we'd be able to monitor it. But let's say that this was an off ramp to a bank where it goes into cash, and now these guys over here use this to off ramp to cash. We have no idea which node it's going to anywhere on this network, because now it's in cash. We would much rather it be in crypto on a wallet, easier to track, easier to trace. If it goes to cash, then we have a problem. And I will tell you, she thinks that she's doing this for national security, but she's actually hurting the intelligence community to be able to do their job in the easiest way to do it. She needs to stay in her lane, because at the end of the day, she's actually hurting national security by allowing the biggest money laundering and narco terrorism funding asset, the US dollar, to be prominent again and off of crypto. She just needs to shut her mouth, go back to your hole, listen to your lobbyist, and make your $140,000 a year paycheck into a multi-million empire. So that's all I got.
Yeah, she definitely seems to be pretty wealthy. uh, uh, despite just having kind of that standard senator income. So yeah, no, I think that's a really really interesting insight into kind of the confluence, if you will, of trying to track data in the illicit world. Well, Tim, I want to throw it over to you. You know, do you think that Elizabeth Warren is serious about trying to actually crack down on cryptocurrency, or do you think that she's doing this to distract, to deflect, or do you think that there's something else going on with this headline?
There's one thing that Piper said, because as great of a take as that was, there's one thing Piper said that I disagree with. And of course,
Mm,
it was the thing he was joking about. It was when he said that she has 2 brain cells. Elizabeth Warren has many brain cells. And let me paint to
mm,
you why she has many brain cells. She realizes that if crypto has its way, she's done. She realizes that if crypto comes in and becomes actual currency used instead of and starts to threaten the US dollar, she is no longer going to be a politician. She's no longer going to be able to collect that money from the people. Like the take that she gave yesterday, saying that crypto is to blame for fentanyl and that if we get rid of crypto, we can get rid of fentanyl, is so dumb. It makes you have to wonder, this is so dumb, money has to be involved because you do not get to be where she is and be that stupid. I would say that, one thing I'll even disagree with myself, we had, and I'm not going to say who it is, there was literally someone voted in this year that I'm like, okay, that person actually, I don't think that they're that intelligent. I don't know how they won. I think they just won because they were in one party and not the other party. That being said, I'm not actually going to accuse Liz Warren of being stupid. I think she's smart and she's a preservist. She's going to preserve her career. She's going to preserve her money. And that's the exact reason why she needs to be voted out of office. Here's the thing, guys. I have been saying this for a long time. One of the things I loved about crypto when I got into it was the fact that it was bipartisan, meaning it did not matter if you were a Republican, it did not matter if you were a Democrat. It was freedom money. It was a good sound thing, and we saw Democrats supporting it, we saw
Freedom money.
Republicans supporting it. We saw so many things happening that were so good. Because guess what, guys? I'm going to go ahead and I'll dox myself politically here, and I'm going to explain why. I
uh-oh.
grew up, my family, very strong Republicans. We are a strong Christian family. At one point, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I feel like the way my family raised me was like saying, like, if you're a Democrat, how do you even love Jesus? Right? It was that type of thinking that went into my upbringing. As I've grown up, I've definitely been like, hey, listen, I know lots of Christians who are Democrats. I know people that love Jesus that are Democrats. They just have different opinions on how we should do things. And guess what? We need it. Do I probably lean a little more conservative in most things? Yeah, I do, but I'm more of a libertarian. There are lots of issues that I look at Republicans doing things and I'm like, that is absolutely stupid and we should not be doing that. There's times I look at Democrats and say, that is absolutely stupid. We should not be doing that. There's times I look at Republicans and say, I agree, let's do it. There's times I look at Democrats and say, I agree, let's do it. This idea of making everything two-sided, you're either a Republican or a Democrat, has been one of the worst things that America has in its political system, and we need people to start thinking for themselves. And I had a little bit of hope here a couple years ago that crypto might be one of those factors that brings some unity rather than division. But characters like Elizabeth Warren are the reason why politics are now coming into crypto and it's starting to split us up. And it's very important who you vote for. It's very important what you do politically. And unfortunately, it's looking like the Republican Party is going to be the winner of this, not the Democratic Party, because we have more Republicans coming out in support than Democrats. That's why I love seeing things like RFK when he's coming out and saying, I'm going to be running for president, pro Bitcoin. I'm like, I love that. We need that. We need more Democrats being pro crypto. But let's face it, guys, that's not what we're seeing. It's getting to a place where crypto is going to become extremely ugly. For example, we're not going to go heavy detail into this, but some of you guys might have seen this morning that Hunter Biden is going to have over 10,000 photos from his laptop released to the public. You might be saying, Tim, why the heck are you talking about that? That has nothing to do with finance. That has nothing to do with crypto. But here's the sad reality. It absolutely will. There will be things that happen to crypto based off of what's happening in politics, because now every single time it seems like Democrats are getting a win, it's bad for crypto. And every single time the Republicans get a win, it's good for crypto. Every single time Democrats get a loss, it's good for crypto. Every time Republicans get a loss, it's bad for crypto. And it's sad, but that's where we're coming to. And the only way to change that, the only way to salvage keeping crypto bipartisan, is to vote out people like Elizabeth Warren. Do not let her win. Make it very clear that she is not the candidate you want representing. And then find others that you do support. Just so you guys know, I'm not going to go into crazy detail on this because as much as I work here and I'm involved with some of the details, there's so much happening with Bencoin that I'm not even aware of. But one of the coolest aspects that you guys will expect with Bencoin is there will be financing. It's not going to be a partisan issue. It's not going to be Republican only or Democrat only. Literally, one of the things that's going to be funded is when with all the money that comes in Bencoin, they're going to be funding pro crypto politicians, Republican, Democrat, Independent. It does not matter. It's going to be funding crypto friendly people. When it comes to other issues, you decide for yourself who you want to vote for, but we need to have options that are pro freedom, pro crypto, and they do still exist. But unless we act now, unless we get out people like Elizabeth Warren, unless we deal with these things now, crypto will become another, it's a Republican thing and Democrats are against it. So if you love crypto, you have to vote Republican. It should not be that simple, and we need to stop that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's there's a lot in there I can agree with. Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and get into this other story, talking about the IRS and how it's been essentially ruled in favor by the courts that it can look into Coinbase's user trading data. So Piper, how big of a deal is this for people who use Coinbase? Is this something that we should be worried about?
So I think it's bad. Here's why I think it's bad. It's not that this particular incident is a horrible thing. It's that this is now case law, and case law is now one step closer to getting to a target or a goal for someone because all they have to do is reference this. This is the same reason that the XRP case with the SEC is such a big deal. It's not really about XRP. It's about how they use that case law in the future for securities on crypto. So this is now case law. If they can do this with Coinbase, you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to use this case for everything that they try to breach into to get information for the IRS. So yeah, bad.
Yeah.
Very bad. Never give
Yeah.
up an inch of ground because when every inch of ground you give up is potentially a mile. So
Yeah. No, it's an excellent take. So Tim, throwing it over to you, what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think people are going to just stop using Coinbase and only use Binance, or other exchanges like Gemini, perhaps? Or do you think that folks are going to stay on Coinbase, and just kind of weather this storm and have not really worry about the IRS because they're following all the rules?
Well, first of all, I mean, this is all the more, I think it's going to be bullish for DeFi, honestly. It's going to be bullish to getting money off of centralized exchanges. But no, people aren't going to leave Coinbase. I told you guys this morning in the planning meeting, honestly, this headline didn't surprise me. I agree with Piper. It's terrible. We don't want it. It needs to be done. But this goes right back to the little thing I just went on here a second ago. Crypto is getting political. Guess which party is going to give power to the IRS to come in and read your Coinbase, and which party is going to take power away from the IRS? It shouldn't be that simple, but that's what's going to happen. All the more, crypto is becoming political, and it sucks, but it's what we're dealing with right now. We need candidates, and I'm hoping there are Democratic ones that will support it as well. We need candidates who support freedom of people, freedom of privacy, and take power away from these agencies like the IRS, not give them more of it. So again, not trying to be a spokesperson for the Republican Party and for conservative thinking. What I'm trying to be is a spokesperson for freedom and for privacy and for crypto. And unfortunately, that boat's leaning Republican right now. Do with that information what you will.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're kind of nearing the end here, guys. I think my take is that while there is there is definitely a clamping down around the United States around crypto, US regulation is becoming more onerous, more burdensome for the trader, for the investor, and for the person who just wants to hodl, right? It, you have and there's a narrative that China is opening up with open arms, to crypto. It could be the case. We could take it at the surface level of these headlines that we're seeing in the last couple of weeks, or we can kind of conclude that, guys, this is just the kind of the growing pains of crypto, and we're going to experience more growing pains, through the rest of 2023 and on into the election year, right, next year. But what more and more folks are coming to realize is whether we have a recession at the later end of 2023 or not, 2024 is where we can expect to see undeniable upside for crypto and more than likely for the stock market as well. So that's kind of my take on it. And Elizabeth Warren and the IRS, they're just going to keep plugging along and, making splashes and headlines for the interest groups that they truly represent. But at the end of the day, we know and we love Bitcoin and we understand its true value. So, Tim, I'll throw it over to you to kind of end out the show. But that is the T-shroom take. I will see you guys in a couple weeks.
Well, T-shroom, I'm going to send it right back to you. You guys, I've seen people asking chat. T-shroom is not leaving the show. He is going on a vacation. No, he is going to do the military. T-shroom, I want you to wrap us out today. Give us your going away spiel and close us out. And I'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place with Piper. T-shroom, however, will be gone. So T-shroom, take it away.
Yeah, well, absolutely, guys. When it feels like, things are narrowing and you're feeling fearful and, the walls are closing in on you, just zoom out, right? And one of the ways that I zoom out is I have actually in my email signature, it says, buy Bitcoin under 50,000 while you still can. Because the reality is Bitcoin under 50,000 is a steal. And there's not a lot of people that really understand that. If you're watching this video, more than likely you do. And guys, if you are watching this video, thank you so much for watching. You are tuned in to the most generous investing community online. We will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividends. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.